Yes, we're international. Good morning, folks. The miracles continue. I could put it on the screen if people want it. Some people usually follow in a booklet. Want me to who wants it on the screen? I'll put it up. Huh? You like on the screen? That's you like. No trouble. All right.
Coming down. Torah's coming down.
Coming down from heaven. So adopting a hostage, folks. Rescued four hostages. And those hostages, they were adopted. Yeah. So we're going to now do for the other 120 that are remaining.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's share. Okay. Parshas Nasso, second Torah portion in the book of Midbar, longest one, at least in verses, not necessarily in learning, because we'll see a lot of repetition. 176 verses. We are chapter 4, verse 21. Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, and Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, what did he say? Right. By the way, why does it say lemor? If God spoke, what do you mean God spoke to Moshe saying? If he spoke, he spoke. It's repetitive, right?
Oh, because Moshe was supposed to repeat it to everyone else?
No.
Exactly. Right?
Everyone else was supposed to repeat it too.
No. That's the question by the Ten Commandments, Mount Sinai. But every other time, God is only speaking to Moshe. Lamor, that he should say it teach it to the children of Israel. Exactly. Nasso, that's the name of the parsha, which literally means to lift up. Here it translates as a census, right? Esroish, lift up the heads, B'nai Gershon, of the sons of Gershon, Gamheim, them too. Right? What do you mean, them too? Who the two? The Beis Avaisam, to their father's house. The Mishpachaisam, according to their families. Rashi picks up on that. Nasso, pick up the heads of the children of the sons of Gershon, Gamheim, them too. As I commanded you, al b'nei kahas. And last week's Torah portion at the end, right? There, he commanded for kahas, right? That is another house of the Levites. To see how many there are, that have reached a category that they're old enough to do the temple service. So do for them too, right?
What's the age of temple service? Is it like 18 or?
Oh, we could go on a rodeo show together. Okay. Next verse. Bench the Maila. Yes, we're talking about the Levites. From 30 years and up, Ad ben Chamishim until 50 years, Chamishim Shana 50 years, Tifkoid, you shall count. So look at that, another word for count. We just had Nasso. Nasso, they translated as census, right? Taking a census. That you shall count some of them. All that came to Tzvoi Tzava, to the legion of the army. What is our legion? To serve the service by Al Mayed in the tent of meeting. That's our That's our real army. That's the real army. The word Sava means army, right? Sava lahagana Israel, right? That's the idea. Uh-huh.
130 years old, not 20 years old.
That was yesterday. We learned that in Rashi. Good question. Explain, because 30 is when you get to your ultimate strength. That's why we said being shloishim lekaya, 30 to strength. You're looking forward. Second time around. You mean like 130? Yeah. Okay. Now, so they're counted from 30. 50 is when your strength starts to wane. So from 30 to 50. Okay, it's interesting because you know, I don't know how many people are in the Olympics that are from 30 onwards. From 20 to 30, or 18 to 30, or you know, is one thing, right? But at 30, it seems it doesn't seem to you peak then. It seems like you peak earlier. But I think that my thought on this is strength isn't just physical strength. It's also a mental strength. And I think that's mental strength and that is involved over here. That's
Rabbi, to test the wisdom, today's science proves a brain isn't fully developed till 25, 26. So when you add the maturity to catch up to the full brain.
so it's interesting.
30.
Wow, that's interesting. So the verse tells us at 25 they start. So it's and it's a contradiction. Is it 25 or 30? They go, no, 5 years training.
That's it.
And then at 30, they enter to do this to do this. Psh, look at that. Wow. So right, fully developed in the right. So strength is not merely in the physical strength, right? And this will be the service of the family of Gershuni, the Gershonites, Lavoid Ulamasa, to serve and to carry, right? What are they going to do? Nasso is Yeriyais. By the way, what does Nasso mean?
Oh, to ascend or to count?
Right, and what does it mean here, though?
To carry?
It means to carry, uplift, right?
Oh, okay.
Remember, so you just giving you root words that when you understand the root, then you can see how it'll be in different contexts, right? So it means to uplift the head is the name of the parsha. It means census, right? In the context. Here it means to uplift, meaning to carry, which is its more inherent meaning.
We didn't carry anything like the menorah or
Let's-
anything else. It's just the curtains under.
Well, let's learn. Let's learn.
They're not lazy.
They're Levies. Yes, they are. There are three families of the Levites. Kahas. Now that was at the end of last week, right? Of yesterday's parsha, and now we're speaking about the Gershonites. Gershon, right? A Levite. Okay.
Thank you.
And also is Yereis Mishkan, and they will carry the curtains of the Mishkan, Ve'esa Oyel Mayed, and the that of the tent, the curtains of the Mishkan, the tent of meeting, Michsehu, the coverings of Michsei HaTachash, and the Tachash skin, which is an animal skin, right? That covered over was right. They had three roofs, right? Not permanent roofs, but portable kind of roofs, right? They were made from different skins. One was a Tachash. Asher Allah that's upon him ilamayla from above is Masach Pesach Oyel Mayed, and it's the screen that is the entranceway to the Oyel Mayed. Rashi in 25 is Yiras Mishkan. This is the panels of the Mishkan. Eser Atachtainis. These are the 10 lower ones. These are made of goat's hair. Okay. There's Oyel Mayed and the tent of meeting spread. Yiras Ayizim. These are the panels of goats. One second. Goat's hair. Hasuyas Oyel Alav that are made as a tent for the tabernacle, for the Mishkan spread. In other words, again, covering. So this is the roof, the underlayer, which was visible from the interior, because I mentioned there's three,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this is the one that's visible inside. Okay. Made of goat's hair. Nichsehu.
So these were the three layers that were above, like the holy and the holy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Remember, it was open, right? The panels went up and it was open. So this served as a roof. I mean, the whole thing was a portable, right, sanctuary. So next, Michsehu, its cover. These are the ram skins that are dyed red. Those are the middle ones. And the tachash was on top, which was a very unusual kind of animal that became distinct. Masach Pesach, the screen of the entrance, Viloin HaMizrachi, the eastern curtain. Should have here. I made copies in the office. Have it here. Give me 1 second. Let me let me get.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, the entrance.
Oh yeah.
Hi. How are you? Good to see you. I miss you. For a few minutes, I miss you.
Okay.
Yeah, get them. Plasticize it to make it
Wow. Whoa.
so
You
we
can even
can.
draw on that if you want.
So, okay, so here you see that it's open, but you can see like there's 3 layers over here. So now this is the entrance. This is the east. This is the west side, right? This is the north. This is the south. So this is speaking about, this is the screen to the entrance over here. Okay. Here there's a curtain,
Yeah.
right? But this is the screen. So it's the entrance on the east side. Okay. Okay, next verse. Bes kalei chotzer. And now the hangings of the courtyard. So this is the whole courtyard here, right? This is the holies and the holy of holies, right here. But all of this is the courtyard.
Yeah.
So now when we're speaking about the hangings of the courtyard, so this is the hangings of the courtyard that create the courtyard, right?
The front.
Huh? Yes,
It's the
exactly.
hanging
Exactly.
over the perimeter. It's not like the planks of the perimeter. It's like the.
But there weren't no, there were things to sustain it, but the planks, when we speak about planks, wooden planks, speaking about the oil moed, we're speaking about the holies and the holy of holies,
Okay.
right? That's what we're talking about now. We're now talking about the hangings of the courtyard and the screen of the entrance of the courtyard, which is the screen that's over here.
Okay.
We just spoke about what's over here.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about what's over here and all of this. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
You don't see?
There was more than one entrance.
No, there's only one entrance. I mean, there's 2 entrances. There's an entrance to the courtyard and there's an entrance to the Mishkan. Right?
And these were crochet, like it was knit together.
Yeah. I know knit. I don't think it was knit, but it was
Woven or.
yeah, woven. Yeah. Okay, so yes. So the hangings of the courtyard, the Chotzer, it's Masach Pesach, Shara Chotzer, and the screen to the entrance gate, Asher Ala Mishkan, to the Mishkan, Ala Mizbeach, Saviv, and to the altar around, Es Mitzrehem, and their ropes, as Kol Klei Avodah, and all of the things that they need, that were used for the service, as Kol Asher Yaseh Lehem, Avadu, and all that was made for them that they shall serve. Let's see Rashi in 26. Some things here we need a little understanding.
You did this all in one day?
What do you mean?
The whole
What do you did what? You mean to put it up and take it down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, there's 22,000 of them, right? 22,000, Levine.
It's like what they do in China in the build stuff.
They build a hospital in that area.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see Rashi. 20 in 26. There's Asher ala Mishkan, over the Mishkan. Kaloimer, meaning a kaloim masach shel the screen, the curtains and the screens for the courtyard, right? A seivavim, a seichachim that would screen a maginim and that would provide protection ala Mishkan over the Mishkan, the tabernacle. And over the copper altar saviv surrounding them. What do you mean protection? What kind of protection are we talking about here? What's a protection?
Spiritual
What's a protection?
elements.
That an Israelite shouldn't come there, because if they come there, then they would have a death sentence from heaven, right?
Yeah.
If you come into a place you're not supposed to. Huh? No, the Levites were around it, but I'm talking about this. He's explaining here, what is this encircling? What is it?
Yeah.
So he says it's surrounding, right? To protect. I'm saying, what's the protection? To make sure that we don't go a place you shouldn't go. It's called right? That's with a fence, a picket fence, right? You shouldn't go on the property.
So that's the whole purpose of the outer barrier. Like that's
exactly right. Yeah. There are 10 levels of holiness, and like the ultimate holiness is the Holy of Holies, where only Kohen Gadol can go only once a year, right? Then there's 10 degrees of that, and where if a Kohen Gadol would go today there, right? I mean, in the Holy of Holies, when you have the Holy Temple, then he would be, he would get premature death. So this is all a protection, right? That's what Rashi's explaining. And everything that shall be done for them. What does that mean? This should be understood according to Onkelos' translation. Everything that shall be handed over to them, meaning Libnei Gershon, to the sons of Gershon. In other words, everything that should be done to them, meaning that they have the responsibility to do. That's how Rashi is understanding that. Okay. Okay, 27. We only have 2 verses left and only 1 Rashi. Short today. Alpi arain uvana. According, alpi means according to the mouth, on the mouth, right? That's peh, right? That means according to Aaron Uvanav and his sons. Tiyah shall be kol avaidas b'nei haGershoni, will be the entire service of the sons of the Gershonites, the chol masam, for all of their burden. Masa is a burden. The chol avaidasam, all of their service of pikadetem, and there's designation aleihem. The mishmeres is kol ma'asam. That's designated the entire burden as their charge. Pikadatem, and you should, pikadatem here means charge, right? Aleihem, upon them, the mishmeres, in their designation or guarding of their charge, of their burden. Rashi in 27, Al pi Aaron abanav, according to the word of Aaron and his sons, is which of his sons are in charge of him? As we will see in the next verse, Rashi's just saying, because it's incomplete, it says it's according to Aaron and his sons, right? So it's leading into the next verse. So Rashi's telling us, what does it mean according to the dictate of Aaron? It means which son under that of Yisamar, the son of Aaron Kayin, which is the next verse. This is the service of the family of the sons of the Gershonites, but in the Oyel Moed, the tent of meeting, Mishmartam, and their shamar, right, is the root word. What does it mean?
Not candle.
No. What does it mean?
First, isn't it guard?
To guard, right? So this is what Shemer is a guard, is a guard, right? So Ushmartam means they're guarding, meaning their charge, right? What you guard is your charge. So you see in the context over here, means they're in their charge, biyad, in the hand of, meaning under Isamar ben Aaron, who's the son of Aaron, Hakayin. Let's see if we have any thoughts from the Rebbe on this.
Is that how the structure was pretty much? Was that like the different clans of Levites were like reporting to like a Cohen, basically?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Let's take a moment here. Anybody have any questions? No?
Should know this, but did he survive?
Who?
The Tamar.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
The Nadav and Avihu aren't mentioned here, right? And they're not. They don't have any charge, right?
Was the clan of Gershon, were they from Gershon in Egypt? What, didn't the Israelites live in Gershon? Wasn't that the name of the place they lived? In Egypt, wasn't like the area where the Jews lived?
No, no. They lived in
Or was that Goshen?
Goshen,
Okay.
right? Sounds
Yeah,
similar.
yeah.
So the Midrash Rabbah, I don't have anything here on Rashi, but from what we learned, but the Midrash Rabbah says that even though Gershon, he was the oldest of the three brothers of Levi, right?
Mhm.
He was the oldest. But and in general, the firstborn gets the honor, right? Even though the firstborn, we learned last week's parsha, they were exchanged for the Levites, right? They lost it because they were involved in the sin of the golden calf, right?
Yeah.
But yet they still have a place of honor. There's still a place of honor for the firstborn. Right. No, go ahead.
I missed last week, so I don't want to.
Okay, not a problem.
The Levites were at the golden calf.
No, they weren't everybody was there, but they weren't involved. They're not involved. So that's why they got to be, that's why they got to take the place of the firstborn. The firstborn is the one who has to do the divine service, right? Why? Because the Bechor God saved the Mitzrayim, right? The Jewish Bechor. So in Egypt, the Bechor became holy to God, right? Meaning you got to do the holy service. But then they lost it, right? They lost it 90 days later, right? Because 50 days later was Shavuot, was Matan Torah. Yeah. 40 days later, they sinned with the golden calf. So they lost the privilege. They lost the functional privilege of doing the service, but they still have an inherent holiness. And that's why the firstborn son has to be redeemed with 5 shekels still by the Pidyon Haben. Yeah. Because there is still some inherent holiness there, right?
In the firstborn or the firstborn son?
Okay. Firstborn son.
Okay.
Firstborn son. It's because it's about the service, right?
Yeah.
In the temple, right? So there's still an honor that Torah gives to the firstborn son. right? Um, so yet, who got the better job? Who got the better job?
Levites?
These are all Levites.
Okay,
This is all the family of
Yeah.
Levites, right? These are
Yeah.
the three families of Levites:
yeah,
Kahas, Gershon, and Merari. So who got the privileged job? Who gets to carry the menorah? Who gets to carry the Aaron, with the who gets to carry it? Kahas, not Gershon. Seeming the Gershon.
Gershon was the firstborn.
Gershon, why he didn't get it,
No.
right? So our verse over here starts with Gershon. The parsha starts, so begins with him, even though last week it ended with Kahas, right?
Very similar.
So even though the parsha begins with Gershon, and therefore you're giving honor to Gershon as the firstborn, right? That's the point that's making,
Yeah,
right? In others, there's some honor that's been given him. He didn't get the leading role, right? He didn't get the leading role. Kaz got it, but there's some Torah is giving yet honor that the parsha begins with him. Okay, is that clear?
Yep.
So the Rebbe asks, okay, very good, but Kaz and the count still came before him. It's true, the parsha begins with him, but in the count itself, who got first? Kaz,
Yeah.
because it was last week,
yeah.
right? Is that clear? But anybody needs to leave, okay. Anybody needs to leave, stay a while. Hi, Kizun.
So not the first in the parsha, but first in the count.
Right. One second. So sorry. Actually, sorry. That's not the question. I didn't say it right. The word Nasso, we said it means what? To count, right?
Yeah,
to the census, right? But it's an unusual term, right? Why is it an unusual term? What's the usual term used for counting?
Counting.
Well, it's the word. Pekadatem. Pekadatem means to count. Also means a charge, right? Because when you count when you give counting gives an importance. Having charge is an importance, right? So the usual term and the term that's used by Kahas is not Nasso, is Pikadatem, right? The term for Gershon that we're giving the honor to him is the word Nasso, right? That's the right. And so the Rebbe asks, yeah, but if Kahas got the privileged and the leading role, so why isn't that using the term Nasso for them? Right? So the Rebbe, is the question clear?
But okay, so for the kahas one, the verb that's being used is like the one that's like importance in terms of charge.
Pakadatim, pakad.
That's the verb.
That's the usual term they use for the word counting.
Okay, but then in this case, the verb that's
Is Nasso,
yeah.
which is not the usual term, an unusual term, right?
Okay.
It's usually meant for carrying.
So then why
It means a carrying,
So
right?
then the question is why does the firstborn have the usual term?
Unusual term, the
unusual
firstborn,
term.
Nasso, right? Which is indicating an importance. Yeah, that's good, but Kahas got the more important role. So then that term should be used for him. Why wouldn't that be? And not only got the more important role, he's also first in the count. So we can understand this according to what Chazal say, Gadol limud Torah, limud maybe lidei ma'isa. Great is the study of Torah because it brings you to action, to do, right? The greatness of the study of Torah is measured in this, that that it will not remain only in the study, but it will bring you to actualize it in doing mitzvahs, in doing the act, right? So, and then that's how you're going to know that Gadol Talmud, that your study is great, right? Well, how do you know that your study is great? Because it brings you to action. It brings you to do, right? If it only becomes a philosophy that you're learning, only becomes something that is, just brain teaser, and it's exciting for the mind. So then, no, right? But then it brings you that you do a mitzvah as a result of it. Then that shows the greatness. So this is the reason why our parsha is dealing with the lifting up the heads, Nasso, right, of Gershon. That's called Nasso. Why? Because Kahas is connected, in particular, to the study of Torah. Right? That's why they carry the ark.
Yeah.
Because they're more the learners, right?
They're doing the action more.
And Gershon is more about fulfillment of mitzvahs. That's what they embody. So this is the deeper understanding of Nasso's Reish B'nai Gershon Gamhem. Remember, it says, lift up the heads, count, right? Lift up the heads of B'nai Gershon, also them. Why they also them, right? So how do you know that the lifting up the heads of Kahos, also them? In other words, who's the them? Kahos, right? That's what Rashi explained. Also them. What do you mean also them? Also them, the Kahos got counted. So also you should count it. In other words, they too will be uplifted. How? Because Gershon, who is the embodiment of action, lifts them up.
Wow. Okay.
Right? That's not the simple meaning that I was saying. That's the deeper meaning of what those words are saying. Right? Gam haim, them too. As our learning will be uplifted, right? Because it'll bring us to do something for an act of a mitzvah for Hashem. So therefore, that will uplift when we do that action. That which we learned will also be uplifted. Gam haim. Haim is them. Gershon. Kahos. That's what the.
Wow.
So in other words, what uplifts the Torah is the fact that we bring it to action.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's what's explained why specifically the word Nasso is used for Gershon.
Yeah,
because they embody the act of the mitzvah.
Yeah.
Right? They embody.
The Rebbe's whole theme.
Huh?
Isn't that the Rebbe's whole theme? If you had to distill it down, he's a man of action.
Yeah.
He's always pushing people.
Yeah.
Act.
Right.
Huh?
But yes, absolutely. But the nuance over here is so beautiful in that great is our study, right? Because it brings to action.
Yeah.
So how do you know your study was great? Because you did the action. How do you know Kahos is great? Because Gershon did what they got to do, the action. So Gam Haim, them too, Kahos will be, right? So they are the ones who, Nasso, they're the one who uplift Kahos through their act. Amazing.
When people say God helps those who help themselves, it's kind of a variation on this theme, right? You have to study to promote action.
Right.
And action promotes results.
Action uplifts the inspiration of the Torah that you learned, right? That's what it uplifts, right? Kahos, that's who Kahos is, right? They embody the study of Torah. That's why they're carrying the ark in the end, Ark of the Covenant that has the tablets in it, because they themselves embody that. Why does Gershon do what they do? Because they embody mitzvahs,
Yeah.
right? They embody mitzvahs. The Rebbe, we're not going to go into that now, but the Rebbe even brings it out in their names. Kahos means to gather, and Gershon means to repudiate.
You can go into the soccer team and
Huh?
you can go into it.
So, okay. So to gather as opposed to repudiate. All right. Gathering. What is gathering? What does it mean when you gather? You bring something together. It means coming together. Kahos means to gather to well, what you have when you bring together is a oneness.
Yeah, unified.
It's a unified, right? That represents the unified, right?
And go on.
Torah is the unified wisdom of God, right? So Kahas embodies that in their very name, and therefore in their functionality, they carry the Torah because they bring together a oneness. They bring, like when you have coming together, right? That's what their name means. Gershon means to expel, to repudiate. That has to do with action, right? Meaning action means in this physical world, right, where the most of the material of this world is negative, right? It's used functionally in a negative way. It's used, food is used to indulge, money is used for one's own pleasure and power, right? So you need to repudiate all of that negativity, right? And use it for divine service. That's why it comes from klipa. The actions that we do, we're taking klipas noiga, something that's a shell that covers over on the divinity that's there, right? And we have to repudiate the negative aspect because most of it's negative, and take the spark of divinity that is there in the money and the food and everything, right? And use it in a divine way. So Gershon means to expel, to repudiate the negativity in order to allow yourself to take the spark of divinity there and upgrade it, right? Kahos means to gather. The gathering is the holiness. Gathering itself, when Jews gather, that itself is holiness, right? That itself is a holiness. Gathering me, coming together. There's a oneness there. That's Torah, inherently one, right? It's inherently one. So the whole point, though, is to take it, right? Is to take it and bring it, that inherent holiness, kahos, Torah, right? How do we know it was great and it's inherently one? Is that when we can go into the material world and deal with the physicality of this world and do mitzvah, right? Because the nature of this world, the human condition is it does not bring you to a mitzvah, because most of this world is self-centered and self-directed, to use the materiality for your own purpose, for your own pleasure, right? How many people say that this is for the divine purpose? This is I'm living for my pleasure. Oh, I enjoyed it. I had a good day. I had a good week. You had a good week. You had a good day.
Yeah.
Oh, your pleasure. That's what you're here for. That's yeah. That's what you hear from most eulogies, right? Most eulogies will be, he led a good life. He really enjoyed life.
So,
right? Hopefully that will not be said by your eulogy. Not that we don't enjoy life. That's what you live for. That's klipa, right? And Torah you learned is not great. How's it great? That you did the mitzvah, you expelled Gershon, you expelled that, right? You expelled that negativity that is just self-directed and self-pleasure. Not that you're not enjoying. That's what you're living for.
No, but the whole story about the fruit on the tree, the first 3 years you don't touch, and then
Right? Same idea.
So there's nothing wrong with the 5th year.
Well, God says, I'll give you extra, but for what? So now that you could use it for divine purposes.
Right.
It's never about me and what I am
Ultimately,
needy
it's about
of,
what you serve.
what I'm needed for.
Right.
It doesn't mean we are not enjoying our lives, but what are you enjoying of your life? What do you enjoy? You're enjoying that you're learning now. You're learning, enjoying that you're doing a mitzvah. That you're enjoying the connection to Hashem. Good luck, right? Enjoying the connection to Hashem rather than the taste on the palate, rather than the feeling of just feeling good about myself.
Supposed to not enjoy your life.
Well, I just said you are. What are you enjoying though? No, but there's only one. One's exclusive of the other. You can't have both at the same time.
Really? Because what I find most people.
How could you enjoy? How can he? Either it's about me, or and what I need and want, or what I'm needed for. Right?
But most
that doesn't mean we don't enjoy what we're needed for. That I can do for my wife, I can do for my kids, I can do for my community, right? And I can what God needs from me.
Okay, but let's say you renovate your house to be nice.
Right.
So your kids have a nice environment, right? So forth. So how's that? You could argue that by creating a nice home, you have a nice family. You created an environment.
Yeah, it could be done for God.
Yeah.
Of course it can be done for God. Right, absolutely. Or it could be done just for my own pleasure. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how you make the distinction.
First of all, let's be honest. We are people that we're going to do for our own pleasure. But at least let's know the truth. The truth is not about my pleasure. It's about the pleasure I can give. Ultimately to God.
Isn't that what most eulogies are about? It's not he had a good life. It's like he took care of his kids. She took care of her grandchildren. She passed on the traditions, etc.
Yeah, not all.
Yeah.
Not all.
Right.
Probably not most.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, because of the stories they tell are just about, some, yes. He gave to his family more than he gave to himself. Some, yeah.
So the
Right.
tribe of Gershon, they have to like break the shells around the klipa,
Right.
and then they're being unified and uplifted through.
Right.
Well, the result of
By
that.
the way, the story's not finished.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow is Merari, and they have a job too. And we have to know how they fit into the picture. They fit into the picture.
Shell surrounds the klipa?
Klipa is shell. A klipa means shell.
Okay, so it doesn't surround the klipa.
No, klipa is surrounded.
It is.
Klipa it means surrounded. A shell is surrounding, right? The right the nut the shell of the nut surrounds the entire nut. Davida, you have a question? Go ahead. I see your hand up patiently. She has to unmute?
Yeah.
All right.
She might have left.
She just, huh?
Uh-huh.
So, Leonard, it's true, that by human nature, we get caught up in our own pleasure, right? What we're learning here gives us an awareness that that's not where we should get caught up in. What will be the litmus test is when it comes to a struggle of something, right? Is it, if that did I do it for my own benefit, or did I do it for my family, for God, right? When we
Is
have
that an extension? If you do it for your family, by extension, it's for Hashem.
not necessarily, it could be totally for yourself. Could be totally for yourself.
Yeah.
Because love of your family is self-love, right? When there's a struggle, and you're dealing with something and you overcome it, your own hurt, right? So then that will be a sign of there's only self-love.
Yeah.
That there's a greater love, right? Which is a divine love that's based not on what you get from them, right? Usually you love somebody because what you get from them. So if you don't get from them and you still love them, that's divine.
My wife is more godly than I am. But that's how she is. With all those struggles.
All right. So yeah, that's that's the challenge, right? Davida, last chance. Okay. All right, folks.